So far, we have been working with numbers, printing them, and assigning them to variables. This, I worry, might have seemed a little unexciting. The truth, though, is that we can also use words as values. Let's try this. Let's have the print function here, and this time I want to print not numbers, I want to print words. So let's try with this. Right, I'm just going to try. I'm going to go to run and run without debugging. And it did not work. And if you did this the same way I did, you also ran into this exact error message. So what is this about? The issue here is that Python thinks this might be a variable. So it looks for the value associated with this variable fruit. But it realizes that it does not exist. You never created a variable called fruit, right? So it makes sense that you must have a way to tell Python if you want this treated as a variable, or if whatever you put in here is meant to be printed the way it is. The way you do that is by wrapping this new kind of value, which is about words, in quotation marks, like so. Actually, let's do something different. Oops. So let's clear this out now and run again. This is what we expected. It worked. Okay, let's remove this now and look at this. Oops. Message. Hello world. I'm assigning here this new kind of value that we just learned about to a variable, the same way we did with numbers. So let's see if this works. I'm gonna go to run and run without debugging. So that's nice. It worked. We know that you can also assign this new kind of value to a variable. Let's be more precise though. I've been saying a new kind of value, but let's be more precise. Let's be more formal. This new kind of value actually has a name in programming and Python. It's a string. You call this a string. Whatever is within quotation marks is called a string.
Why does it make sense to call it so? Let's have a quick look at the dictionary.
Zoom in. It comes from the ancient Greek strangos, meaning tied together. This makes much more sense when you realize that this value can be thought as characters tied together. The H, the E, the L, the L, the O, the white space, the W-O-R-L-D. These are all characters tied together. Yes, even the white space is considered a character. In fact, anything that you can type, if you can type it, it can be part of the string, or it can be the string itself. For example, even this can be considered a string. Even the white space is a string, or this. As long as you put it within quotation marks, then that makes it a string. This means that even numbers, if you wrap them within quotation marks, they can be the string or can be part of the string. So I'll show you. So let's do this. Oops. Right, so this is a string. And let's have a look at this. This also is a string. Okay, but what about this one? If I run this, what do you expect to see? What's going to be in the terminal window? Let's see. I'm gonna do it. Right, so this one is the same exact thing that you have here within the quotation marks. This is the string printed out the way it looks in here. So you didn't have the evaluation of 1 plus 1, which would be 2. This is because each value kind has its own properties. You can't do arithmetic with strings. In a string, the plus sign becomes just for show. The numbers are not numbers anymore. They're like drawings. Once you make them into a string, you lose the ability to do math with them. So in programming, you use a specific kind of value depending on what it is that you want to do. I keep saying value kind, value kind, value kind. The word kind, though, isn't quite right. It's inappropriate. In Python, and most programming languages, the term is type. We say that a string is a value type or just a type. So let's stick with that term from now on. I avoided saying type before because this is a loaded term in Python and programming, not one to toss around. You'll grasp this better in lesson 1.2 and later with the classes topic. Now forget about terminology. I said anything in quotation mark is a string, right? So what about number digits, those without quotes? What type are they? Well, the distinction between types exists because each value type has its own unique properties and behaves differently, right? Well, that distinction in Python and most programming languages is true even between numbers. Some act one way, others another. In Python, we got two numerical value types, two numerical types that behave differently, int and float. The int type is for whole numbers. Think of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so on.
The float type is for decimals. Numbers like
0.1, 2.5, 10.18, 4.135.
This lesson, though, is not about int and float types. Lesson 1.6 will be dedicated completely to numbers and their unique behaviors. You got some of it now, because I just couldn't have you assume that all numbers are one type just because all words are the string type.
Before we are done with this lesson, you need to know more about quotation marks.
Quotation marks come in different forms, and that is for good reasons. In Python, we have two basic kinds of quotation marks. These are the double quotes and these are the single quotes. You can see the difference here. You got one of these here and two of this here. And the strings are the exact same thing, meaning you can use one or the other, no problem. If you were to print these two strings, you'd get the same thing. You can try that out if you like. Why did I say two basic kinds though? Why did I say basic? That's just because we have another form, another version, which is a combined of the two. So you can see this as the building blocks, and then we'll see another version which is a combined of the two. For now, though, let's focus on the two basic kinds, double and single. So what is the need to have different forms of quotation marks? Why have double? Why have single quote marks? What's the good reasons? You see this string? Well, I've used single quotation marks here. Let's now try to print this. I go here, I run it. All right, there is an issue. What's the issue? Unterminated string literal. All right, you see this quotation mark, the single quotation mark, and the single quotation mark here. And then there's an apostrophe in between. The apostrophe looks just like the quotation mark. And that's because they are the exact same thing. So if you were to try to guess, like, where does this string start and where does it end? If there is a single quotation mark here, and then another one here, you think, all right, this is a string. But then there also is one here. So I guess if it ends here, then does it start here? But wait, if this starts here, and then there also is one that starts here, but it doesn't end anywhere, then, who knows? It's confusing. Python here also struggled to understand where the string started and where it ended. But there is a solution to it, and that comes from having different kinds of quotation marks. See how? So, first of all, I'm going to remove the single quotation marks. This is what we want to print out, right? This is the way we want it. We got one quotation mark, a single quotation mark, and we want to use this as an apostrophe. So the solution is simple. You just wrap this in the other kind of quotation mark, which is the double quotation mark. And you can do that by simply selecting it all and then typing the quotation mark key on your keyboard. And it's going to wrap this automatically. Now I'm going to just, we already got the print function with the same variable, so I'm going to run it. And we got it. It worked. Okay, forget about this. Well, what if you had something like this? Just read it, make sure you understand what it is. Forget about programming. This is just a sentence as you would find it in writing, like a book. There is quotation marks here, and these are used to wrap a quote, a citation, a saying, in this case by this guy. But what if you want to print this in a program, in Python? It's as simple as it was with the previous example. You just wrap the whole thing with the other kind of quotation marks, that is, single quotation marks. And this works well. You have to assign it to a variable or just print it directly. I'm going to assign it to a variable. I'm going to do Rick says. It will work. If you want, you can print it by yourself and make sure. Okay, forget about this as well and wonder, what if I want to use apostrophes and sayings in the same string with a sentence like this one? Have a look at this first, and then I'm going to tell you how you do that. Right, so forget about programming again as well. This is just regular writing. You got this person here who said this once, right? And you wrap this and double quotation marks as usual. The thing though is that, well, now you want to print it the way it is in programming, but you also have an apostrophe here. So what do? You can try to wrap this in single quotation marks or double quotation marks. It will not work. What can you do? There is something else, and it's called triples or triple quotation marks. I'm going to show you. I'm going to first assign this to a variable. I'm going to call it just string 1. All right, so I'm going to wrap it in triples. And I've done that. There is triple singles here and triple singles to the right. We also have triple doubles actually, but I used the triple singles here because I've got a double quotation mark here already. So that's how you do it. And yeah, I'm gonna run this. Let's see if it will. Well, I didn't print it, so nothing is gonna come out. Here. Let's run it again. It's done. It worked. Using triple allows you to mix up single quotation marks, double quotation marks, apostrophes, any way you like. Okay, we are about to be done now, but look at this. This is too long. Look, it stretches too much towards the right? I've said already a few times that one of the core mottos of programming is readability, making it easy to read, to work on the code. But I've not respected such motto that much, right? So what can we do? How can I fix this? Well, I'm going to create a little space here. And I'm going to do, I think, here. Actually, I'm going to do this here. Yeah. And actually, I think it's clear if I just, yeah, this way. I like it this way. So what happened? This is not something you can use, you can do with strings, with any other quotation marks. This is something you can only do with triple quotation marks. So that's another way this other version of quotation marks is useful. It allows you to split strings across multiple lines. So that's nice, right? Much less frustrating. And I'm going to run it now. Well, I think this looks nice. I'm going to run this. And let's see what happens. Yeah, looks nice even in the output. So this reflects the way it appears on the text editor, but also the output. Remember, before this was all on a single line, even in the output.
Strings, they can choke.